All right, so here we go. We are only 4 days away from the beginning of early voting in Texas.
Now, it starts Monday, runs then through Friday, November 4th, Election Day, Tuesday, November 8th. A record-breaking 15 million Texans are registered to vote in the election, about 78% of the voting age population. Some voters will experience changes to the state's controversial voter ID law for the first time. Fox 4's Deanna Zoga is in the newsroom now with more on how local election officials are preparing. Deanna.
Well, Heather, they are training on what forms of ID are allowed for people to be able to vote in this election. You know, things, as you said, will be different. IDs that are expired for up to 4 years, for example, are okay this time. And there are additional options for people who cannot get a driver's license or ID.
Highlight all of that for me.
In the countdown before early voting begins Monday,
There are legs that you can take out.
poll workers in Dallas County are training on the equipment
It has its own private booth.
and in the rules under court-ordered changes to the state's voter ID law.
So I've been here for 29 years, and this one is more intense than I've ever seen it, based upon some of the emails that we've received, some of the calls that we've received.
Dallas County Elections Administrator Tony Pippin's Poole is working from guidance just handed down by the Secretary of State in late August after the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Texas's voter ID law was discriminatory earlier in the summer, ordering a lower court to come up with rules to get through this election. What it means now is people who don't have official ID and can't get one can now use things like voter registration cards, utility bills, or bank statements to vote, as long as they sign a special affidavit given to them by a poll worker.
We have to let them know exactly what forms to fill out, what to look for, how to really say it. You can't question their reason for having or not having the 7 forms of ID.
It's a whole new ball game. It's different than it was in November of 14. It's different than it was in November of 12.
Appellate attorney Chad Ruback, who's followed the voter ID case closely in Texas, points out election officials are working under intense scrutiny, with Donald Trump alleging rigging on a national level and the feds watching how Texas election officials follow the latest court order.
This is going to be a highly contentious election. It's going to be an election with lots of fingers pointed each way, and the poll workers are all having to learn a brand new way of doing things and not given much time to learn it.
We're going to go to step 3.
And as poll workers across the state study the rules, voters, too, will have to take note.
We are trying to let everybody know you have options now. It's a little bit easier for you now, so you have options.
Expect to see signs at your polling places listing what forms of official government ID are okay. If you have ID, you're told you still need to bring it. If you don't, that's when you're allowed to show one of 7 other types of documentation, as long as you do sign that affidavit. Now, certain Texas driver's license offices plan to be open this Saturday and next Saturday to issue special election ID certificates, Heather, and that is free of charge.
All right, Deanna, thank you.